And welcome to episode 20 of Two Idiots Reading Comics. This week we have my favorite run on one of my favorite series. It's Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's run on Batman and the New 52. Hey man, this is an open place to talk about comics. Talk about all nerdy shit. Actually, as you know, we talk a lot about Star Wars. But you can do that on our Twitter, 2IdiotsRC, Instagram, 2IdiotsRC. Subscribe to YouTube. You can post in the comments at 2Idiots Reading Comics on YouTube. You can also find the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. I think pretty much anywhere. If you haven't listened all the way through to the episodes and you haven't heard me say it yet, or you just haven't checked out our YouTube yet, I also do a weekly show called Things I Read This Week. I pick 3 new comics that came out that week, and we talk about them. That's YouTube only, so you can go check that out. And hey, while y'all are over there, go ahead and subscribe. But yeah, that's it for right now. Let's go ahead and get into the show. And welcome to episode... Oh, I thought you were going to say something. I will leave that in. And welcome to episode 20.
Oh, shit.
Can you believe we made it to 20 episodes?
Fuck. Wow. No, I honestly cannot.
Yeah.
We made the comment back at 8, 9,
Yes,
that we beat the average.
Most podcasts don't make it past 8 episodes.
So 9 was us beating the average, and we have now doubled and plus
Yeah.
that.
Also, as at the time of us listening to this, we are on pace to hit the point of where we are gaining more downloads each month.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I
Yeah.
mean,
Tell your friends.
yeah. This has been an exciting event for me. Well, not just an event, but this has been an exciting time. Getting to talk about comics, getting to talk about the outside world of comics to my best friend.
Now, when we filmed episode 0, did you think we'd have any listeners by episode 20?
Not at the number that we have now.
No.
I know we don't have a whole lot of subscribers on YouTube. Go subscribe to YouTube. I know we're not a visual platform, but it helps
help
the
us
algorithm.
And there is a video that comes out every week that is only on YouTube.
And Talmadge has his own show now. But on Spotify, iHeartRadio, now
Apple
Amazon,
Podcasts,
Apple, all the random different podcasts. Y'all
Stitcher,
have
all the other ones that I think hipsters listen to.
Yeah. Y'all have grown each month, and hopefully by the time this comes out,
we're in different countries.
In November,
There are
like
people
please, like this is
from
this is
different
amazing.
countries
Like,
listening to 2 bumpkins from Alabama talk about comic books.
literally, when I started this with Talmadge, when we started, I honestly thought, all right, this is a cool way for us to get together, see my best friend, talk about stuff that we don't get to really talk to anybody else about, just because no one else we know of that really is this in depth into comics. That even at this point in time, when we're filming this one, in late September, that this many people would still be listening to us.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, and I'm happy, and
we'd love to talk to y'all about it too.
Yeah.
However you want to do that, Twitter, Instagram, you can add us, you can comment in our YouTubes. We'll try to respond to as many as we can.
please, the feedback's more the feedback, the better. It'll help us grow, help
We
us be
wanna
better.
Make this a real community, and at some point we'll give you a name.
Yeah,
Just when there's more of you.
yeah.
But
This week, episode 20.
series and run of Batman that got me really into comic books.
Yeah, and so the last month in October, and in October we finished up Vader,
Yes.
my favorite villain and character.
He's a hero. He threw the Emperor down. Fuck you, he's not a villain.
I broke him.
He's not a villain. You say that all the time. There was one day in college we got into a day-long argument because you said the greatest fictional villain is Vader. I said, no, it is the Joker. And I'm not even that big of a Joker guy. But Vader literally turns...
Yeah,
even if you just take the original
understand.
trilogy, he turns good in the end. And a villain wouldn't do that.
All right, I'll still take it. But then I had also convinced you that he's also the chosen one. But we digress.
You didn't have to convince me. You just pointed out that he was still the chosen one.
Yeah. Either way, we now get into our second continuation story. Now this one's only going to be 2 episodes.
Unless you just say, hey, we like the Scott Snyder run too.
Hey,
go ahead and run with it.
Hey, Snot Skyder run. We'll do as many as y'all want us to do.
Scott, did we? I think we both just said it. We both said it's not Skyder.
We did.
And it's Scott Snyder.
Snyder. We will run. We will run.
Put some respect on that man.
Seriously, we will run as many Scott Snyder stories of Batman y'all want us to until they're done.
Yes.
That man is he's done wonders
Yeah.
for the DC universe, especially for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And this one right here, this story is one of his best.
And this
Is
the
this
first
his
time you've read it.
introduction?
Yes. This was his first story arc as a Batman.
Wow, that's wow.
And we putting a lot of love on Scott Snyder. I want to put some love on Greg Capullo also.
Seriously, yes.
He has drawn my favorite Batman. That is
my
favorite looking Batman.
Yeah. There's some odd moments when he's in his glider. When it's Batman and he's got his hands out like he's like he's turned his wings to a glider.
Mm-hmm.
He looks a lot like the Batman from Red Sun. That real squared off fat cow. It kind of looks a little odd.
I also just don't think Batman should have a glider, period. That's what his cape is for. I understand.
I think the glider, him holding the mechanical arms is his cape. To me, I think it is his cape, and that's just how he makes it rigid. It looks funny. I know you've played a lot of the Arkham series games, and it is his cape.
Yeah.
I think that's how Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder imagine Batman getting around the city. He forced
very small critique compared to what we just did last week, where we were like, people didn't know how to write comics in the 80s. Is basically what we were
even
saying.
though they wrote one of the better ones ever.
But that's just I prefer my Batman to fly around using his cape than a glider,
and that's understandable.
But that's whatever.
So we've talked about Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo as the penciler
and writer,
and the writer Scott Snyder. The inker is Jonathan Glapion.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Colorist is FCO. Colorist, whatever
as
the fuck I said.
He apparently did not fight for the rights to have his own name. I assume FCO is a company.
Because they're mentioned again.
Which, if I'm Batman is the series for DC, and you're just contracting out his colors. Unless this guy just didn't want his name next to it.
All I can figure is this is like Marvel's VCs.
Yeah. They contract out all their letters.
Instead of like Marvel where they do VCs and they give their whatever.
At least they credit their letters.
I think this was a group of people that
would make sense.
To me personally, I think this is a group of FCO members.
Yeah.
That, hey, we'll give you issue 1, 2, 3, 4. Just use the same fucking colors.
Yeah. Use the same palette.
That's the only way I can think of it.
These are obviously questions we could look up, but we're not going to.
Yeah, but that's not what we do. That's why we're called two idiots.
Yeah.
You got letterers, Richard Starkings, Comic Crafts,
which I assume is another company.
Jimmy Betancourt.
Yeah.
But see, Comic Crafts actually gives some credit.
Yeah.
I guess to the guy.
I guess it just depends on your company and contract.
Collection and original cover arts, Greg Capullo and FCO. And then, of course, created by Bob Kane. Batman created by
Bill Finger.
Which was odd.
This started in 2011. I think they decided to finally give Bill Finger credit in like the mid 20-teens.
But wouldn't Bill Finger?
Yeah, Bill Finger.
Wasn't he a creator well before that. I mean, he's
Yes.
the creator of Batman, right?
But Bob Kane took all of the credit, and people were fighting for Bill Finger to start getting credit.
Okay.
And didn't.
All right. That's some back shit that I didn't know
think
about. I mean,
Batman versus Superman was like the first big thing where they finally put his name on something.
okay, cool.
So, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. There's a really cool documentary. I can't remember the name, but it's talking about the people that fought to get Bill Finger's name added to the credits and stuff like
Okay,
that.
cool. That's great.
I
mean,
want to say Amazon Prime. I could be wrong, but go look it up.
we've talked about this before, where there was a long running history of comics not giving their creators the recognition they
The
deserve.
fucking people that created Superman.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, totally honest, I couldn't tell you who did create Superman because no one's
Yeah.
ever said. I mean, I'm sure I've read it, but
Yeah. But they had them and Bill Finger were probably the two like most well known people fighting to get their names added to credits. And stuff
cool.
like that.
I mean, great. I mean, you helped create one of the greatest
Yes.
characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you walk down the street and you show somebody a picture of Batman, they go, "Oh, that's Batman."
Yes.
I mean,
For the longest time, the three most obviously now with the movies is probably different, but back before comic movies really took off, the three heroes you could honestly count on people recognizing were Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could walk down the street. I remember as a kid, there was the whole with McDonald's and Burger King and characters, they'd show kids just pictures, and they knew exactly who McDonald's, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. They knew the characters if they didn't know historical figures.
Yeah.
Like Napoleon or whoever else you want to put in there.
Yeah.
That's how iconic these people are, and they didn't give them credit. It just that blows my mind.
Because most of the time when you have to give someone credit, you also have to give them money.
Well, that's true. And the less money, less
Much
credit,
as I
the
like
less
money,
money
it's
you got to
also
give
the
out.
root of all evil. So.
Well, yeah.
But that was a whole nother tangent. So this was the first time you've read this, haven't it?
Yes.
First any Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman?
Yes, and
Now we just got back from dinner and you were like, I want to read this entire run.
yeah. Again, we'll do volume 2, episode 21, 23.
4 from now.
So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. No, yeah, 24.
Yeah, 24.
We'll do it for episode 24. And honestly, I told Thomas, I was like, man, I'd rather go ahead and read volume 2, go into it, and we just do it part 2. But we wanted to give volume 1 its due.
Yeah.
So we only read volume 1, and we're just going to talk about volume 1. That way we don't cross over anything. Not going to lie, this might be one of a handful of true Batman stories I've ever read.
Really?
Since we've been doing this, this is the first true Batman story alone
That we've done, yeah.
that we've done.
Which is, why the fuck did we wait so long? This is probably going to have better numbers than most.
Well, because we were trying to be different. We didn't want to go straight Superman, Batman, all the classics.
Yeah.
But again, this might be one of a handful of true Batman I've ever read.
Yeah. And
I'm sure I've exceeded my top 5, but this is back up there in the top 5.
Yeah. There was also, just like any great Batman story, there was also some detective parts in this.
Yes.
It wasn't all just action movie shit. There was actually, he had to figure some shit out.
And to me, that is Batman.
Yeah.
He's the greatest detective. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get Batman stories where he's not a detective. He's a vigilante.
Yeah.
Not
to say those aren't good either.
No, but you can get that in Spider-Man. You can get that in Superman. You can get that in a whole lot of shit. But him being a detective is beautiful.
Now this was when they were talking about back when Ben Affleck was Batman. They said we wanted an older Batman, and I was like, this needs to be the story they do. Because it's all about an established Batman becoming so confident that he is Gotham, he knows Gotham better than anybody else. But it turns out there's this secret society of wealthy families that have been in Gotham for ages and have been running it from the shadows.
150 plus years.
Yes, and basically knocking Bruce Wayne down a peg and being like, you don't know what you don't know.
And they talked about that a lot in this one. Is Batman himself, Bruce Wayne, talks to Dick Grayson Nightwing.
Yeah.
I was a boy, and I sought after.
I was going to talk about this. I completely forgot about this part. So basically, everybody's sitting there telling him like, "Yo, it's the Court of Owls."
Yeah,
the Court of
I mean,
Owls.
he
like,
has
no,
this,
it's a fairy tale.
Yeah, he's got so much data, so much stuff
Yeah.
saying that it is the Court of Owls,
and he's just like, "No, I know it's not." And he finally talks to Dick Grayson after being captured by the Court of Owls, and is like, or no, it wasn't after he got captured, was it?
No, he fought the Talon in
Yes.
the original Wayne Manor Tower.
Yes, and he's like, "I've looked into them before." He's
When
like,
he
what
was
do you mean? He's like,
when he was a kid.
yes. He said, when my parents died, I couldn't accept the fact that it was just some random guy named Joe Chill. I thought someone had to be behind it, and I thought it was the Court of Owls. And I was a kid, so I didn't really have great detective skills. I went on a hunch and looked to see what proved it right, but not what proved it wrong. And it got me trapped into a fucking abandoned country club for a week.
7 days.
Yeah. And after that, I had to stop looking for reasons and had to accept that they weren't there.
Yeah.
And
Now, something Variant Comics, something that I think we've talked about on this show before.
huge fan of Variant Comics.
God, we love y'all.
Eris Quinones.
Shout
out
hey,
you.
man. They've made Eris Quinones and the guy he does the podcast with have mentioned many a times. Scott Snyder. I did it again.
How many times are we going to say snot in this episode?
Scott Snyder introduced something to Batman that technically in his world, other than now in Batman's world, this is canon. This is his legend has been around for 150 plus years that no one ever wrote about.
Yeah.
And Eris Quinones and them, they talk about how Scott Snyder was able to do this and still bring in the fact that it tied in with Bruce's world.
Yes.
And the whole fact of him as a 10-year-old going, okay, it's the Court of Owls. I know it's the Court of Owls.
Mm-hmm.
And then it not being, or it says that they're not the Court of Owls.
Yes.
And do they ever say that he killed them, that his parents, or is it still the original idea of the guy that killed Bruce's parents was a thug?
I think,
and that is the true.
I think
canon.
it was just the one true guy, but they definitely, because when he's trapped in a labyrinth, they have all the pictures of the people they killed.
And his great grandfather, Alan Wayne, is on the board.
Alan Wayne was the only one that had a picture up there. So.
Okay, and with that, it talks about how Scott Snyder created this, that it could have been real easy to say the Court of Owls persuaded this guy to kill Bruce, to kill Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they
weren't
didn't.
in it,
That this was still a true random guy that killed him in Crime Alley.
Yeah. But yeah, Court of Owls is a group of wealthy families that have been running Gotham for 150 years. They use through influence and use of an assassin that they call the Talon.
Beautiful. Oh God, his suit
You a
and
big fan of it?
oh man, dude, that is
Something about the eyes I still am not huge on, but
really? Oh,
but
see the eyes to me.
I understand it's an owl, but I just
The eyes, the whole old school like looks like a welder's goggles eyes. That to me just I don't know. It just feels old. It feels what the
steampunkish.
yeah
Definitely
I
had that
guess
feel.
so. And it feels like what the Court of Owls is. It's been they've been around for a long time. They haven't.
I tell you what, it's old money feel.
Yeah,
Old
that's
money.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. It's that old money feel of they don't have to change.
It's old money hates new money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. That it is a beautiful way to talk to address that.
Yeah.
What
it's hard to, because I've obviously read volume 2 before, so it's kind of hard to go into into depth a whole lot without trying to spoil anything. I guess I'll just ask, what were your like positive notes about this?
Honestly, the whole thing. I guess it was the fact that, like I talked about with Eris Kionis and them
Like,
talking about Scott Snyder.
I want to hear you nerd out about it, honestly.
Man, honestly, what I said with Eris Kionis and Variant, Scott Snyder literally kind of rewrote Batman's history. Not Batman's history, Gotham's history. He rewrote Gotham's history.
He introduced that, and then he introduced a new villain without the, hey, it's a flashy new villain. It's like, oh no, we were here all along.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't like just throwing in, say, Go-Go Dancer. That's this random. Honestly,
you're making a Batman villain, and the first thing you go to is a Go-Go Dancer.
Fuck, he's got a dude called Polka Dot Man.
Oh, that's. I don't think that's a Batman villain. I think
Go-Go Dancer. Yeah, whatever. Literally, the first words that came to my head. Not just creating a new villain of the times, but a past villain.
Davis strictly only goes to 1970 strip clubs.
We won't go there. But still, that's the biggest thing, is that Scott Snyder literally rewrote Gotham's history and showed Batman, Bruce Wayne, that he's not Gotham. He's not the leader. That,
like I said, it knocks him down a peg. It's
yeah,
like,
when he's
got a little too high on your high horse.
When he's talking to the mayoral candidate, crap, I had his name down. Candidate. Crap, I thought I wrote it down.
I do not think I wrote his name down. I think I just put the guy that running for. You read it.
Either way,
you read it. You know.
When he's talking to him, and Bruce kind of realizes that when he first kind of realizes, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
He still doesn't think they're real. After they're attacked by the Talon, throws them off the original building. He's sitting there going, okay, maybe they are real.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't quite click until they take him into the fucking labyrinth.
Yeah.
And literally drive him.
He thought it was just someone dressed
mad.
up as a Talon and like trying to capitalize on an old horror story.
And then they do all the buildings that were created in the fund of his great grandfather, Alan Wayne.
Who was an architect.
Cool.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
And it was always in like the
13th floor that they always thought was haunted, that it was wrong.
Because apparently Alan Wayne was super suspicious.
Yeah.
And so he always left the 13th floor empty. And that's where the Talons hid.
Yeah, I thought that was a beautiful way of saying that, the 13th floor is evil.
Yeah.
And then the owls
and the whole thing about owls don't make their own nest.
That they build. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful.
What do you think about the plot twist that Dick Grayson was supposed to be a Talon?
Yeah, I was going to that. That was
wild. The Haley Circus for decades has been training young athletes and acrobats and all this other stuff for the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
And they just have them. It was like once every 10 years they trained them up, and basically fucking Court of Owls put them on ice and waited to awaken them all.
Used the tooth to pump some sort of something into their veins that they could attach, that they could energize and bring them back to life.
Yeah,
if they died.
Then they had like a major healing factor after that too.
That was wild. And again, with the fact of,
and the first Talon was Dick Grayson's great grandfather.
Yeah, that the fact that they have been around for this long, and that Dick Grayson was actually supposed to be a Talon, that just added to the mythos of Gotham, just adding to the secrets that Gotham had.
Yeah.
I did think that's beautiful. Something I wanted to talk about was, what did you read this on? Comixology, DC,
No, I have,
Marvel. What'd you read it on?
I actually have the. I actually have the collected version that I bought back in 2012. from Books A Million.
Okay.
So I actually
Go
have
to when Batman goes crazy.
Okay.
I guess
Are you
it's
talking about the
issue 6
pages
when
that
he's
turn
in the lab.
sideways?
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that upside down, backwards, sideways in the actual comics?
Goes like
Sideways,
that.
sideways. Okay.
Sideways.
Sideways, sideways. Yep.
Sideways.
Yep. And then they
we
start
go
flipping over.
upside
Okay.
down, which
Yeah, that's upside down. Yeah.
upside down, and when it's upright in this one.
Okay.
I think it was a very when I read it, it's annoying, but it was a very creative
Yes.
thing of, hey, this is how crazy he's going.
Yes. I made note of that.
But now that I'm thinking about it, you having to read it on a Kindle.
Yeah,
I know the Comixology app
that was
flips to straight up whichever way you turn
I
it.
had to lock the
your
Kindle.
screen?
Yeah, I had to lock my screen.
Yeah.
But once I realized what was happening, after I got into like the 2 or 3 issues, I was like, I really thought it was cool that Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. God dang,
Just they thought about it like that.
Yeah, thought about the fact
It's so
that
simple,
Batman,
but-
Bruce Wayne's going crazy.
Yeah.
That even the pages
Yeah.
are now going crazy.
It's so simple, but it's very effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly just set up for volume 2 though, and I tell you what, shit hits the fan.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of this, you get
The
where
Court of Owls awaken all their talons.
was it all the Talons?
All the talons they had, which was that big room full in the labyrinth.
Dude, that was creepy. So, at first, when we saw the coffins, I guess we'll call them coffins.
Yeah.
I thought before Bruce gets out and they capture Dick Grayson's grandfather, Talon corpse. I thought it was past Talons that
definitely
had died,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just their memorial.
Yeah.
That these were the kids, the picture of the kids that we trained.
Yeah.
This is their bodies. They're done. They're rested. They're put to bed.
Yeah.
And the open coffin was the Talon that was alive now.
Yeah.
That was going to be his coffin or her coffin, whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
But the fact that they could reanimate them, why did they need more Talons? Why did they need to create more Talons if they could just reanimate a Talon whenever they wanted to?
I mean, it might not last all the time.
Well, I get that, but
and I think that was that was something they discovered recently, is that they could reawaken them and stuff like that.
okay,
So you had to have a constant talent.
That's fine.
Like that.
but man, not gonna lie, when Bruce was in the labyrinth and started going crazy,
I've never seen
and started
Batman push
seeing-
that far.
dude, that's what I was getting
Yeah.
to. It is when he starts seeing his own hands become Owl's talons. The people are misfigured and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little creeped out because I've never seen a Batman. I've seen what happens to him on Scarecrow's toxin. He sees weird shit, but it never. Batman's still in control. This, he lost all control.
Yeah,
he had no
got too
control
cocky.
over this.
Yeah.
And he starts the wildness that he creates gets really freaky.
Now let me ask you this: you're in the labyrinth. Are you walking all over? So I'm pretty sure I'm just hanging out by that pool.
Yeah, I ain't. I mentally, I'll die by that pool.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. If this is this is what got me here, I'm dying by that pool. I'm sure at some point
that water might be poison, but
I'm sure
I'm
at
gonna die
some
in this
point.
pool.
I'm sure at some point I would try to, like him. I would try to leave.
Yeah.
And after the second time I came back to that pool, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm here. Fuck it. You want to kill me? Kill me.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm not putting on a show for you.
No, honestly, after the second time coming back to that pool, I'm done.
Yeah.
Or to the room with the pictures. The pictures.
Yeah, and it took one of you every time.
Every time, and the picture kept changing every time he walked in that room. That.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, those pages that is one of the darker things I've ever read of a comic.
Boy.
And I'm sure it gets worse, but
not really, but I'm just thinking about some stuff I've had us or going to have us read. I think there's darker stuff. I don't know.
But as of right now, to the point we're reading now, this was the mental
Yeah.
fuck up that
You
they
don't
put
see
Bruce Wayne.
You don't see Batman getting pushed that hard.
No.
Um,
I mean, he's been pushed hard by the
Yeah.
Joker, by
Mhm.
Scarecrow, Riddler, all of them.
yeah.
This one was a weird,
Mm-hmm.
literal mind fuck.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're a little over time, but
Man,
obviously this goes into our next continuation episode. Like we said, they unleash all their talents and say, "Hey, go get all our enemies" and stuff like that. But that's for the next volume and the next continuation episode. You got any announcements you want to make, or
no, not yet.
Okay.
Still kind of
you
getting
want
some
to
shit
tell
together.
the audience anything?
Again, I think I mentioned it a couple weeks back, a couple episodes back. I don't know exactly when I mentioned it. Trying to do a book club of Star Wars Del Rey books. They're so in depth. There's so much stuff packed into them, more than a comic that we can talk about in 30 minutes. That I was wanting to see some of your feedback, some of your ideas. Would y'all be interested in seeing some or listening to something like that? Or if y'all would like to make it more of an interactive commentary with each other than us just talking about it. Hopefully I get some feedback about that. But hopefully there'll be some more news coming out in the future. But as of right now, it's kind of in the works.
I wasn't even pushing you to talk about that. I was just going to see if you'd say I love you.
Jesus, man.
I love you guys. I hope you guys
I
know
love
that.
you guys too. But still, there's stuff on the horizon.
All right.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let us know. Again, give us your feedback. Give us your love. Give us everything you got. So
Give us all your comments. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, all that good stuff. We enjoy y'all listening to our show. We enjoy doing the show.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming back each week to listen. And I guess we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye. Holy shit, you made it to the end. I can't believe you did that. Well, I guess since you're here, go ahead and click on another video. Or go ahead and subscribe. Or leave a comment, like, whatever you're doing. You may made it this far, so might as well help us out. All right. Thanks.